Hello, I'm Ricky Lee, and today on the watch list, I'm joined by Paul Welsh, CEO of Buccaneer Energy Plc. The company has reported exceptional results from its organic oil recovery pilot at Pine Mills, including a dramatic reduction in water cut and a meaningful production uplift, results that could materially impact cash flow as the program scales. Paul, welcome to the watch list.
Right. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be here.
So, Paul, the pilot reduced water cut from roughly 80% to zero in one treated well, a rare outcome. What operational or reservoir factors made that improvement possible?
So this is that gets to the heart of how this process works. So what happens is the service company comes out and they sample your produced water. They identify what they describe as the beneficial microorganisms. They then go back to their laboratory. They concoct a nutrient mix. We come out, we pump the nutrient mix into the wells, and what that does is it allows these microorganisms to bloom. So increase in numbers by tenfold, thousandfold, whatever they may be, with this nutrient mix. And then once they eat that nutrient, then they become starved and they start looking for other things to eat. And the things that they have left to eat are essentially the cellular network that surrounds the oil droplets that are attached to the sand face. And so what happens is when they eat those, that then releases those molecules. So the oil molecules flow through the reservoir to the wells, and they also attach water to the sand face. So they release oil and they attach water to the sand face. So they increase oil production and they decrease water production. So as you mentioned, in one of our wells, the 206, we had an 80% water cut before we did the treatment, and then we got a 0% water cut after. So we only produced oil. So we're producing a little bit of water now, about 3 weeks in, not too much, but again, it's really been a remarkable treatment for us. So again, that gets at the essence as to how this process works.
Amazing stuff. It sounds like science fiction almost. The pilot cost
Could
was
be.
comparable to a routine workover. So, how do you evaluate the balance between upside potential and capital efficiency as you scale this OOR solution?
So what we look at is as what we're based on a lot of assumptions now, because as we mentioned up front, this is a pilot, and so in the pilot area, we increase production 100%. So the question is, what does that future look like for the pilot barrel? So the incremental volume we're producing is 15 barrels a day, so it's modest, but the area that we're producing from only was producing 15 barrels a day to start. So now we're at 30. So what we've assumed here to determine the capital efficiency, as you discuss it, or as you describe it, is we're at 15 barrels a day. That's the increase we've seen. Then we'll see this increase decrease. So the one that we start to decline. We were assuming that decline rate is at 40% until it hits the typical field decline rate, which is between 5 and 8% in this part of the world. And then based on that decline rate, the barrels we produce, we've determined that the capital efficiency or the internal rate of return here is about 99% at current oil prices. So it's a really good way to spend your money, assuming the results, are coming the way we've modeled them so far. So again, it's a pilot. We'll see how the pilot plays out, but at the moment, we're on track to do what I just described.
And so, with plans to treat remaining wells in the Battery 3 and expand across Pine Mills in Q2, what production and cash flow targets are you aiming to reach by year end?
So we've increased by 15 barrels a day so far. If it all goes to plan and we do it across the entire field, we could probably add another 45 barrels a day. So that'd be a total of 60. Given our current net back, that will translate into another about $60,000 a month in free cash flow. So if it plays out, we don't see any decline. We run it for the next 10 months. That's another 650,000 in cash, which is a lot for what we would describe prior to this as a marginal field. Now, what's going to determine that is that decline rate. How much we see, how much we get. Does it decline slowly? Does it decline as I've mentioned it? The steeper the decline will determine the amount of revenue we do generate. The other part of the story is that because the water cut is also decreasing, our OPEX drops. So at the moment in Pine Mills proper, our operating costs are just under $20 a barrel. So our net back is about 40. If the water cut reduction comes through as we've seen, those operating costs will drop. So we have another part of the field called the Falk area that produces very little water, and the operating costs there are $5 a barrel. So that's the range that we can see. So, that we're targeting to capture between $506,000 of free cash flow. At the moment, it's doing really well, and we're excited, and we see a lot of potential for it in this field.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us today, Paul.
Thanks for having me again, and we're really glad to get the message out because we think it's a great technology, and again, a shout out to our partners at Hunting who have been great to work with. So thanks to them for all the effort they put into this as well.
Well, once again, that is Paul Welsh, CEO of Buccaneer Energy. For more on the company's organic oil recovery program and production outlook, visit buccaneerenergy.co.uk. That's all for this episode of The Watch List. I'm Ricky Lee. Make good choices today.